Good evening, bonsoir. Merci d'être avec nous ce soir à la réunion publique datée du 20 septembre. Pour tous ceux et celles sur Facebook, bonsoir tout le monde. Merci d'être parmi nous. And for all of you that are on Facebook or watch Facebook after the presentation or after our meeting, welcome. I actually had a couple of people approach me and said, "Oh, I watched it on Facebook." So I figured I'll make it a point to make sure that I thank everybody for being here. So I will ask everybody to please rise for the national anthem. Ce soir, nous avons une présentation du Grove Hill Community Group by Marc Lausier. So we have a presentation from the Grove Hill Community Group. Monsieur Marc Lausier.
Merci beaucoup.
Oh, un instant. OK, vous êtes prêt.
OK, merci. On va s'ajuster un petit peu. Merci beaucoup de m'avoir permis de venir vous présenter ce soir. Thank you very much for allowing me to talk on behalf of our Grove Hill group. I guess I wanted to just, I know there's a couple of new faces on council. I made this presentation or back in April when the property in question that is attached to the park in Grove Hill subdivision was looking to being changed zoning from the industrial zoning as it was to a residential zoning to allow it to be sold to, I'm not sure what the intent was at that time. So when I came to council back in April, the council at the time had tabled the motion for that piece of property. Now, if I understand correctly, and I do have a question for Mr. McLaughlin, that process of rezoning right now, as it was tabled at that time, is it still active now, or how?
It's not still active because after so many days, after the first public notice, if a reading of the bylaw is not done by City Council, and then we will have to start the rezoning from day one.
Thank you very much, Mr. McLaughlin. I wanted to ask the question because it was one of the points in my presentation that I was unsure of. So as I understand, the motion or the presentation to rezone that would need to be restarted.
It would have to start.
So when we had the motion tabled in April, as a subdivision, we decided that we want to take ownership of that park. So we had meetings together. A lot of it was by email because at that time with COVID, we couldn't really meet in person. And finally, we incorporated ourselves. So what you have in your council package now, which is shown currently, is the actual document that we have that shows the incorporation of our company. We have a board of directors. We haven't established yet president, vice president, treasurer, or anything like that, because that would be the next step. The idea here is to come to council and ask that council consider that piece of property to be part of the park, and let us take over that, similar to what other groups did. I'll give the example of Victoria Park, where they really did a nice job in putting that park together. So we want to do a similar type of setup with this park. So I have this, basically the piece of property we're talking about here is that a smaller red part that was to be rezoned to be sold as a residential building lot, and we would like that zone to remain as it is, because currently it's institutional, and what I understand, in an institutional zone, you are allowed to have that to be considered as a park. So there wouldn't need to be any rezoning process. It would just be a question of leaving it there and adding it to the park. As a committee, we would take it over, and this is a schematic of what could be possible with that park. We'd be looking at doing trails, benches, and looking at something with that tennis court, either looking at either improving it or doing something with it. So I guess the question is, can we move forward with it? And what would be our next step to find out what that process would be?
Okay.
So I'll leave that in your wise hands, and hopefully we can hear back from you. Peter Bernier is the lead, and I believe he is communicating with Wanda, and we'll look forward to your response to our request to have that piece of property added.
Perfect. For full transparency, this is in my subdivision where I live. I am not part of the committee. I am not involved, so I stay out of it. I think it's a beautiful initiative that they are looking at doing. And we'll go to Mr. McLaughlin, because I do have a question with the tennis court part, like the old part. Is that part that can they do something with that? Could they do pickleball, or, and what's our next step?
The property is presently zoned institutional, and that's a permitted use. Park and playground is a permitted use under institutional. Then they will not require to make a request to amend the municipal plan and zoning bylaw.
Okay. So do we go to council and we ask council if they're okay that they take over the park and the responsibility? What would be our next step?
That will be the city council decision. That's a council decision to more or less give the vision of that land for the next extra year. Yeah.
Okay, perfect. Does council have any questions? All right. Councillor Burnett. Oh, hold on, I've got too many mics on.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Congratulations, Mr. Lozier, on this initiative you're taking this evening. I wasn't part of the last presentation, but I like what I see. And you know, there's lots of, well, I shouldn't put it that way, there's lots of lots for sale in that subdivision. So I think this would be better off where it is to serve all the people around that area and keep wellness going. You know, this is a wellness activity, and I congratulate you. I've been fortunate to put on Parks Committee by the mayor and looking at some other parks around, so maybe we can sit and have a chat and have a coffee, you know, so thank you.
Yeah. No, thank you very much. You bring up a good point, because there are a lot of lots in that subdivision that are for sale, and we believe that if we, let's say, improve that park, that it will make it that much more attractive for people to want to buy pieces of property in that land. So I think it will go together with the vision maybe of what that subdivision could become. So.
Okay, we have another question from Councillor Willett.
Yeah, congratulations to the group. You know, I've been through this process already when the city wanted to get rid of the park, and that's what it takes. It takes the citizens to come forth and want to be involved. And your group sure is showing signs of wanting to be involved in that. And I know yourself, Mark, you've been involved in Victoria Park yourself, and giving us a hand and a help with Victoria Park. So you already know the avenues to follow, and you know what you're getting yourself into, so.
No, and I can appreciate that comment, because we know that it'll take a help from the community, and the company I work for is really community driven, so I know that we will participate in the success of this park as well, so.
Anyways, congratulations for getting it started.
Thank you.
We have a question from Deputy Mayor Hondas.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Just congratulations. Basically, I think the reasoning why we were going through this process in the first place, the reason why we did table, I think then Councillor Chamberlain tabled this one, and then Councillor Anderson tabled the one for the East Bathurst Park, I believe. Basically, what you're doing is exactly what we need, and we need people to get involved. It's always nice to say, oh, we're going to do this, we're going to do that, we're going to do this, but if nothing's done, then it kind of takes away from why we tabled it. So hats off to your group. I really do appreciate you taking the time to come here and make your presentation, and I'm hoping that, you know, if it goes your way, and we know that the success that Victoria Park had, and we can only wish you the same. But it would be nice to see some activity and some development there from your group to see, make sure that when time comes, that it's nice and we can cut a ribbon, do something like that. But the reasoning we tabled it is because we wanted to see the interest of, and I don't think we've seen that interest from the other party yet, but it would be nice to see that they would come forward with a committee and an idea of what they want, and I think that's the reason why we tabled it in the first place, so.
Yeah, we actually had someone from the subdivision mow the park already, so, and it's,
Yeah.
it was unsure what the status of it was, so. Yeah.
I do believe it's a great initiative. So out of curiosity, so if council agreed and you went forward, when would you, the vision of when would you start that? Would that be next spring, or?
Yeah, definitely, there's definitely some fundraising that would have to be thought of, like how are we going to proceed in that fashion? I think as a committee, we maybe have to have a little bit more of open discussions into what we're thinking of there. I think maybe my question of Councillor Willett into how he undertook some of the funding that he did there, just to gather some of the ideas, and maybe with Councillor Burnett, who's on the park committee, so that might be some initiatives there, but definitely work with local businesses that have a link to the subdivision might be an idea, so that's where we would go with that. So.
Perfect.
Yeah.
I think that's a wonderful idea, so we'll definitely get back to you, but I really
All right.
can't see it being a problem. So no other questions. Thank you very much.
Thank
Merci
you very
beaucoup.
much. Merci.
Bon. Madame Saint-Laurent, est-ce que nous avons des items à ajouter ou à annuler?
Add or remove.
Parfait. Est-ce que nous avons des déclarations de conflit d'intérêts?
Aucune déclaration de conflit d'intérêt.
OK.
Oh, tu as sauté par-dessus 4.
Oh, excuse-moi. L'adoption, excuse-moi, l'adoption de l'ordre du jour, ça serait député-maire Hondas.
Merci, Madame la mairesse. Je propose que l'ordre du jour soit approuvé comme présenté.
Est-ce que je peux avoir quelqu'un pour l'appuyer? Conseillère Anderson, tout ça en faveur disant oui?
Oui.
Contre? Motion adoptée. Bon, là, est-ce que nous avons une déclaration de conflit d'intérêts? OK. Adoptions of the minute, the 6.1, regular public meeting held August 16, 2021, Councillor Legacy.
I move that the minutes of the regular public meeting dated August 16th, 2021 be approved as circulated.
May I have a seconder? Councillor Willett. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. 6.2, special public meeting held on September 13th, 2021, Councillor Knowles.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I move that the minutes of the special public meeting dated September 13th, 2021 be approved as circulated.
May I have a seconder? Councillor Legacy. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carried. Madame Saint-Laurent, est-ce que nous avons des délégations ou des pétitions? Okay. So we go to finance. 8.1, total des comptes fournisseurs pour le mois d'août 2021. Conseiller Leblanc.
Je propose que les comptes fournisseurs excluant les salaires pour le mois d'août 2021 soient approuvés comme indiqué ci-dessous. Opération, 677 838 $. Capital, 63 649 $, pour un total de 1 833 983 $.
Parfait. Est-ce que je peux avoir quelqu'un pour l'appuyer? Député maire Randaz, tout ça en faveur, signifiant par disant oui.
Oui.
Contre? Motion adoptée. Mr. Pettigrew.
Thank you, Your Worship. The following is a summary for August 2021 in the accounts payable. Under the capital fund, Kenny's Trucking received a payment of $59,645 for the electronic billboard, a payment to other of $4,004 for engineering fees and other miscellaneous, for a total of $63,649 on the capital fund. In the operating fund, Bell Alliance Mobility and Radio received a payment of $18,696 for internet and our TMR radio monthly fees. Chaleur Regional Service Commission received a payment of $18,525 for garbage, sludge, and our recyclables. Mainville Trucking received a payment of $16,948 for a backhoe rental and granular base material. Medavie Blue Cross received a payment of $70,903 for our monthly benefits. NB Power received a payment of $111,029 for electricity throughout the city. Northside Pavement Markings Limited received their payment of $47,084 for line markings throughout the city. St. Isidore Asphalt received a payment of $23,253 for road resurfacing work or road surfacing work. Other recurring payments of $371,399 include animal control services, supplies, heating, and diesel fuel for a total of $677,838.
Thank you.
Total payroll for the month was $1,092,496, which was 4 pay periods, for a total of $1,833,983. That is my report, Your Worship.
Thank you very much, Mr. Pettigrew. So we will go next to municipal bylaws. So 9.1, rezoning application 2144 Valley-Lud Drive. Councillor Anderson.
Thank you, Your Worship. I move that whereas the City of Bathurst has received a request from Résidence Habit Soleil Residence, Inc. to amend the municipal plan and zoning bylaw for the property located at 2144 Valley-Lud Drive, having PID number 209119939. And whereas the request is to change the land use designation for the property to allow for institutional uses, residential medium density and high density uses, culture and tourism uses, and for community gardens. And whereas the property is classified as institutional IN in the municipal plan and as institutional IN in the zoning bylaw. And whereas the application is to modify the designation from institutional IN to integrated development in the municipal plan, from institutional IN to integrated development in the zoning bylaw. And whereas members of council request in writing the views of the Planning Advisory Committee on the proposed amendments. Now therefore be it resolved that council publish a notice in accordance with section 25 of the Community Planning Act, advising of its intention to amend the municipal plan and zoning bylaw, and that a public presentation be held on October 18th, 2021 at 6:30 p.m. in council chambers to present the proposed amendments.
Perfect. May I have a seconder? Councillor Knowles. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Pas besoin de rajouter. Avais-tu besoin de rajouter, M. McLaughlin? Oui, OK. Maybe, okay, so on ira avec un peu plus d'informations. We'll go with a bit more information with Mr. McLaughlin.
Tonight, the resolution, Mrs. Mayor, this is the first step of many steps that we have to follow to amend the municipal plan and zoning bylaw for that property. That property was recently purchased from Habitat Soleil Résidence. And next October 18, I will make a full presentation of what they propose on that property, and the public will have plenty time to send the positive comment, or if they have some concern, they could also send some comment to City Council. And the Planning Advisory Committee will also review the project and make recommendation to City Council. And the notice will be published on city website if public want more information.
Okay, perfect. Thank you very much. All right, so draft resolution 10.1, Public Awareness Rail Safety Week. Councillor Burnett.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Whereas I would so move, whereas Rail Safety Week is held from September the 20th to 26th, 2021. Whereas it is in the public's interest to raise citizens' awareness on reducing avoidable accidents, injuries, and damage caused by collisions at level crossings or incidents involving trains and citizens. And whereas Operation Lifesaver is a public-private partnership whose aim is to work with the rail industry, the governments, the police services, the media, and other agencies and the public to raise rail safety awareness. And whereas CN has requested that Bathurst City Council adopt this resolution in support of its ongoing effort to save lives and prevent injuries in communities, including this municipality. So therefore, I would move that we support Rail Safety Week to be held from September 20th to 26th, 2021.
Perfect. Do I have a seconder? Deputy Mayor Hondas. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. 10.2, Q023-21- 3-year contract for fall grass cutting and trimming. Councillor Willett.
Thank you, Your Worship. I move that the request for quote Q023-21 3-year contract for fall grass cutting and trimming be awarded to Scott's Property Maintenance for a total of $72,132.96 plus HST.
Perfect. May I have a seconder? Councillor Knowles. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed? Motion carried. And we'll go to Mr. Abernathy.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. This contract is to handle our fall grass cutting for when our employees return in the Parks Department return from cutting grass during the summer going to Casey Irving Center. Since they can't perform both duties, we do have a slip period at the end of the year where we need to contract out grass cutting and trimming. And the contract is for a 3-year period, and so we'll be coming back in another 3 years to renew the contract.
Perfect. Thank you. 10.3, Municipal Holidays. Councillor Legacy.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I move, whereas the Canadian government passed legislation to make September 30th a statutory holiday for federal workers in the public and private sector, and whereas the City of Bathurst understands the importance of expressing their respect and support for the First Nations, moreover for their friends and partners from Pabineau First Nation, be it resolved that the City of Bathurst will mark the National Day of Truth and Reconciliation as a municipal holiday on September 30th of each year, commencing September 30th, 2021.
Perfect. May I have a seconder? Councillor Willett. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. 10.4, Appointment of Assistant City Manager. Councillor Burnett.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I would so move that Marc-Andre Laplante be appointed as Assistant City Manager for the City of Bathurst, effective immediately.
Perfect. May I have a seconder? Councillor LeBlanc. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. I think that's a very good motion. Congratulations.
Congratulations.
Monsieur LeBlanc.
Yep.
Very well deserved.
I got a sidewalk that needs done. I can go see him.
Yeah, that's going to, yeah. All right, 10.5, correction to lease renewal R&J Boulangerie Artisanale. Conseiller Leblanc.
Merci, Madame la mairesse. Je propose que le renouvellement de bail de R&J Boulangerie Artisanale ratifié à l'Assemblée publique ordinaire du 16 août 2021 soit modifié comme suit. Annexé, article 2,f, le locataire convient avec le bailleur que les lieux seront utilisés pour exploiter une boulangerie. L'usage des lieux pour offrir un service de restaurant est interdit. Le locataire convient également qu'il n'est pas autorisé à vendre de pretzels sur les lieux soit ajouté au contrat. L'annexe E, clause relative aux aliments et aux boissons, soit omise de l'entente. Il est résolu que l'entente sous-mentionnée expirant le 31 août 2022 sera modifiée comme il a été mentionné précédemment.
Parfait. Est-ce que je peux avoir quelqu'un pour appuyer la motion? Conseiller Lagacé. Tous en faveur signifient par disant oui. Contre. Motion adoptée. Items discussed in camera. 10.6.1, Letter of Understanding, Résidence Ross, Councillor Anderson.
Thank you, Your Worship. I move that council members approve the letter of understanding between Residence Ross Inc. and the City of Bathurst as discussed in camera on September 13th, 2021 pursuant to Section 68 of the Local Governance Act, and that the mayor and city clerk be authorized to sign all related documents on behalf of the city.
Perfect. May I have a seconder? Councillor Knowles. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Madame Saint-Laurent, est-ce que nous avons des affaires nouvelles?
Aucune affaire nouvelle.
Do we have any old business?
No old business.
Okay. Items for information. Do we have any committee report?
We have one committee report from Councillor Stephen Brunet.
Okay, Councillor Burnett.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Fellow council members, we all got put on various committees earlier in the term, and I'd like to report on some of the ones that I was put on. First of all, in parks, I visited Victoria Park to check on the asphalt trail damage and talk with some of the people there. And then I visited the engineering department on this issue and was informed that the repair work is on the list to get done this year. So thanks to the engineering department. And I must say at this time that when I visit the engineering department or other departments in the city, I find the response to be very positive. I am pleased with that. They can't always do what I'm looking for, but they do answer as to why and what's going on. And you know, some citizens don't feel that comfortable coming here, so they come and see me or other councillors. So I thank the staff for being so positive. I visited the Bosco-Bragley Park to meet with Arthur Chamberlain, who I was referred to by you, Madam Mayor. He is trying to get the committee going together again and is moving forward with issues anyway. So he has a few people lined up and they're working at it. And he would like to get, for example, a water line into the park so that a rink can be flooded more easily and readily this coming winter. He also asked for help on getting some small boards to go around the cement pad that they use for a rink. And then to stop it from melting, you know, when the sun hits it right there where it's at, they just lose their rink without the boards around it. As well, he showed me a broken bench, a very nice aluminum one, and I was told by management that they are going to look at that to see who built that and maybe can fix that for him. As well, I recommend that he call his MLA, Mr. Denis Landry, to seek assistance, financial assistance. And I'm pleased to tell you that Mr. Landry found this gentleman $5,000 to help the park with the park work. So thanks, Mr. Landry, for doing that. I checked in with our manager and left with the feeling that the sum was not quite enough to get the work done, but it could get started. So I'll get back to Mr. Chamberlain and explain that. On a personal note, I also took my grandchildren on their last weekend visit to the park, and they had a great time on the structures that the park has to offer. This is a nice park. Thanks to Joan Chesson, our previous committee, for the work they've done on that park. It's got some great playground equipment. Wellness and Intergenerational Committee, the other one. I was asked by Mr. Margella Simard from the University of Moncton to find 15 seniors to take part in a senior survey and gathering later this month. I visited and found 14 people who said yes, and then forwarded their names to Mr. Poirier. It was well appreciated, and he will be working with these 14 people later in the month on a survey of seniors and seniors' needs, and as part of a study that he's doing with the university. I then later had a meeting with Mr. Bruno Poirier, a Beresford councillor, who's under contract with the IFMNB to establish communities as age-friendly. He sent me documentation which I have yet to get into. In Bathurst, though, we have many people and groups that are working on age-friendly issues, and we should be proud of that. To name a few, and I hope I don't miss any, but I probably will, Daly Point Nature Reserve, Coronation Park Committee, Bosco-Bragley Park Committee, Victoria Park Committee, and tonight we had another one proposed for the wellness of the people in that area. The Arts Society, Robert Desjardins, Samuel Daig and his Trails Group, the Retired Teachers Association, Bathurst High School and programs they have in their music and phys ed programs. They are going to go into the community with some of this, and it's a really nice initiative that they have there. Royal Canadian Legion and much more. Downtown Revitalization Committee entertained a lot of people on the promenade this summer with their music. A big thank you to all those people that are on those committees, and sorry for those that I missed in this report. and I'll keep trying. Under the Arts and Culture Committee, I attended a meeting of the Art Society, their first since COVID. It's been a long time, 16 months or so that they couldn't meet. And they discussed painting of murals, fire hydrant painting, park benches touching up and painting, art classes to be started again, art activities in our seniors' homes. They go into seniors' homes and do activities with the seniors. Harvest Festival, Christmas Arts and Crafts Show, patron of the arts program, and all are reminded that you can buy really nice gifts at the art,
Yes.
what do you call it? Not the museum, but the location down on the waterfront. And also, if you don't want to buy a painting, if you're like me where you get too many to start with sometimes, they have cards. They have really nice little cards, all around cards that you can buy and write up and send to people. So that's available down there. Sadly, COVID remains with us, and some events are threatened by the variants that are now in our community. Hopefully, once more people are vaccinated, we can get back to more normal life. I spoke to Mr. Kevin Vino, who is with many of the seniors' homes in this area, and he would like to have people come into to his places, and he would like to see more art and music in the homes, but it's not possible right now because of COVID. So he said once this is under control, he would welcome people into our seniors' homes to maybe put on a show or maybe put on a little musical event. I have yet to reach out to other schools, as visitors are not allowed in most of the schools. And the reason I got into Bathurst High School is I accepted a day and to teach that, and I ended up walking through the building looking for certain people. As well, indoor pickleball will begin again next month, and there are many, many groups that are setting up this sport again, and they will begin in the gym behind City Hall. So we want to thank staff again for setting that up for them. And that's my report on those three committees, Madam Mayor.
Perfect, thank you.
You're welcome.
Great job, Councillor Burnett. You've been busy bee.
Retired,
And-
eh?
yeah,
Retired.
I know, and huh?
Got nothing else to do.
Yeah. Yeah. Don't let my wife hear that.
It's wonderful, and it's nice because I have people contacting me, especially with some of the parks, and I told them, I said, listen, I do want to listen to you, but I said, contact, Councillor Burnett, and he'll be able to, since you were with the parks, and I knew you would be able to come forward with some updates and ideas for them, which is really good, because it is a beautiful park in East
And
Bathurst.
many people will do that too,
Oh, I know.
not just me.
No, I know,
Yeah.
I know. Okay, so departmental update, so mayor's report. So as we had just mentioned for municipal holidays, as you know, 2021 has been a year of tragic news for First Nation people across Canada, and a sobering time for all Canadians. The discovery of over 1,400 unmarked graves at 5 residential school sites so far is a grim reminder of the extremely difficult and painful journey that First Nations people have endured. Comme vous le savez, l'année 2021 en fut une des nouvelles tragiques pour la Première Nation au Canada, et ainsi une période de dure réflexion pour tous les Canadiennes et Canadiens. La découverte de plus de 1400 tombes anonymes dans 5 sites de pensionnats jusqu'à présent est un sombre rappel du voyage extrêmement difficile et douloureux que les peuples des Premières Nations ont enduré. Il est important pour nous d'exprimer nos respects et notre soutien à nos amis et partenaires de la Première Nation de Pabineau. Nous partageons des intérêts communs et des valeurs communes, et nous avons construit et établi tellement de choses ensemble. Il est aussi important pour nous de continuer à construire un avenir meilleur ensemble, basé sur la vérité, la réconciliation et le respect. It is important for us to express our respect and support for our First Nations friends and partners at Pabineau First Nation. We share common interests and values, and we have built and established so much together. It is also important for us to continue to build a better future together based on truth, reconciliation, and respect. By recognizing and commemorating the legacy of residential schools, we recognize how important our actions are as we continue our journey forward alongside our friends and colleagues at Pabineau First Nation and all other First Nations. en reconnaissant et en commémorant l'héritage des pensionnats, nous reconnaissons l'importance de nos actions alors que nous poursuivons notre cheminement aux côtés de nos amis et collègues de la Première Nation de Pabineau et toute autre Première Nation. Je remercie les membres du Conseil pour leur appui unanime de cette résolution pendant le 30 septembre, une journée officiellement reconnue à Bathurst pour la vérité et la réconciliation. I thank members of Council for their unanimous support of this resolution, making September 30th an officially recognized day in Bathurst for truth and reconciliation. And I know that the province of New Brunswick at this time has not recognized it. And I truly hope that they revisit and that they change their mind for next year. With that said, I'd also like to congratulate, I had the opportunity last Saturday. There was a gala for Citizens Award, and we have 5 new permanent residencies that have been here for over 5 years that are now Canadian citizens and were actually able to vote at the federal election. So, félicitations à Marion Hubert de la France, Antoine Attard de la France, Peggy de Silva de la France, Abkur Hussan, Libya, Leila Mohamed Aboujazi, Libya. There were so many more that are waiting to receive their permanent residency. They've actually passed the test, and now they're just waiting for their ceremony. So I think we'll have another celebration. And I think what was beautiful about it is that our First Nation, the Chief Richardson, his brother, wife, they all came. The chief said a few words. He blessed the ceremony, and we actually had a smudging where they blessed the new Canadians, and then they smudged the room. And let me tell you, it was something else. And then we had all the children go up front, and the children sang "O Canada." It was quite an emotional night that I am so proud to be part of. Now, we were 100 people in the room. We were careful, we were separate, we were within family. But please, I ask everyone, please, for your children, for your family, get vaccinated. Take the time. As we see the cases rising, we're putting our children at risk. Please take the time to get vaccinated. Je demande à tous ceux et celles, essayez d'éliminer le nombre de COVID positifs que nous avons dernièrement. Prenez le temps. Pensez à vos enfants, à vos familles, à vos aînés. Prenez le temps, s'il vous plaît. Allez vous faire vacciner. C'est tellement important. Je vous remercie beaucoup. So that's my report.
Good for you. Well done, Madam Mayor.
Bon, la proclamation. Proclamation. Mois de la sensibilisation au cancer de la prostate en septembre 2021. Whereas prostate cancer is the most common cancer among Canadian men, and attendu que 1 Canadien sur 7 recevra un diagnostic de cette maladie au cours de sa vie. Whereas an estimated average of 11 Canadian men die from prostate cancer every day. Et attendu que le taux de survie au cancer de la prostate avoisine 100% si la maladie est dépistée dès ses premiers stades, mais que 3 hommes sur 4 en mourront si elle est dépistée tardivement. Whereas Black men and those with a family history of disease are at greater risk, et attendu que depuis la création du cancer de la prostate canadien en 1994, le taux de mortalité a diminué de la moitié. Whereas awareness and conversation about prostate cancer can lead to screening and early detection that saves lives, et attendu que la ville de Bathurst appuie Cancer de la prostate Canada et que nous sommes tous résolus à accroître la sensibilisation au Canada de la prostate. Therefore, I, Mayor Kim Chamberlain, on behalf of City of Bathurst Council, do hereby proclaim September 2021 as Prostate Cancer Awareness Month in the City of Bathurst, New Brunswick.
Thank you.
Bon, adjournment of the meeting. Councillor Deputy Mayor Hondas.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Je propose que la séance ordinaire publique soit levée à 19h10.
Est-ce que je peux avoir un deuxième? Bon, tous ceux en faveur signifient oui.
Oui.
Contre? Meeting adjourned. Have a great day and thank you for being with us. Anderson, sorry.